Hello, good evening, and welcome to Eye on Port. It is a proud program brought to you by Ghana Revenue Authority, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GOIL Company Limited, the Ghana Community Network Services, that's GCNet, West Blue Consulting, Serene Insurance as well. And media partners include the Business and Financial Times, Graphic Business, Ghana Web, and Business 24, plus a host of others. So tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. on GH1, you should watch our bridge version of the program on that platform. Also on Wednesday on Ghana Television, an abridged version will be aired on that platform. Now, folks, this week we're going to talk about lessons that we can learn from a particular freight importer who imported borehole into this country. He got swindled by a clearing agent that he believed was going to help him clear the goods out of the port. And then, you know, we worked on the subject here. We tried as much as possible. Colleague freight forwarders intervened, and he got some support. He cleared the good out of the port. But to get his money back was a problem. He turned to the courts, and indeed, the court has given him some judicial relief, which is very good. We're going to take that case study, that report, to learn lessons from it. As an importer, if you're clearing goods out of the port, what you need to know, and some of the lessons we can learn from this particular importer who imported a borehole machine. And if you also have any experience you want to share with us, we will entreat you to do so. Share with us your experience as far as clearing goods out of the port is concerned. And if you have also any challenge you want the officers who will be in the studio or who are already in the studio to address for you, we'll be happy to take your concerns. You can join the conversation. It's on Facebook, Eye on Port Ghana on Facebook. Also on YouTube is Eye on Port. You can, at the appropriate time, the phone lines will be open for you to call. 020-552-8353 is the number. It will be displayed on the screen. And the WhatsApp number that you can send us a message on will be 055-901-9177. So importers using clearing agent, importers clearing goods out of the port, all challenges, the men will be here to address it. Eye on Port return shortly.
Tai fa semna ene nsu a etene hohoro nsa na mpo so wo baabi a unya nsuo ne semna fa sanitizer akoko wom fa gu nsem na fa pepa nsa ho nyina sa wo yare a snefie
na obebisa ho se ede na obeye pamba ususu se oni obi a wanya sa yare ni bi enye nhyiamu ana se wa ben obi a owo sa yare ni bi de se wo ye ni se obeto ohun punumu na wa frɛ number ɛda screen no so
shika wofe ekomiye obanya wosa neke helane na ejake mofia mo ehia nya wofia ekomi koni wachi covid-19 na nike obaasumo ake obawabo ye neke biamie obanya ni otwa telephone number ni ona biane.
Here's innovation from GOIL that takes you further. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and GOIL has innovated to stay ahead. Expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. GOIL. Good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Oh, how are you?
Hi Yvonne, a few words please. Everyone is talking about the fire at your production house last week. How are you holding up? Has production stalled?
No, not at all. My crew and everyone on my set is perfectly fine because I insure with Serene Insurance. As a matter of fact, I've had all my equipment replaced, including the vehicles that were affected. My workers have been sorted out. Even my production downtime has been covered, so it's all good. I have a meeting to attend to, so I have to get going. Sorry about that.
Which insurance company did you mention?
Serene Insurance, the new face of insurance, a member of First Sky Group.
Utiliser les ports de TEMA et de Takoradi, c'est avoir un traitement rapide et sécurisé de vos marchandises diverses en conteneurs, en sac ou en vrac, ainsi que tous vos véhicules en transit. Le Ghana a construit un parking bien pavé pour tous les véhicules en transit. Une nouvelle gare frigorifique pour le stockage de la marchandise congelée en transit. Avec un nouveau centre de traitement de données construit et la mise en œuvre efficace d'un guichet unique national qui permet aux données d'être accessibles par tous les intervenants, le traitement des dossiers dans les ports du Ghana est maintenant efficace et plus efficient. Utiliser les ports du Ghana, c'est profiter des systèmes de portes électroniques et d'exploitation des terminaux ainsi que de la réservation des navires en ligne, entraînant ainsi un parc de camions fiables pour un acheminement de vos marchandises dans les brefs délais avec un suivi satellitaire jusqu'à nos frontières. Les femmes, à vous les honneurs. Les ports de TEMA et de Takoradi célèbrent la femme. Que les bienfaits de cette célébration apportent plus de bénédictions.
Welcome back to the program. So this week, like I said earlier, the case of a swindled borehole importer who got a judicial relief from the courts, and the lessons that we are going to learn from it is what we're discussing today. So if you're an importer and you hope to clear goods out of the port, or you have cleared goods out of the port and experience anything you want to share with us, it would be important, and the men here will be happy to address them. We'll also be happy to share them with the rest of the world. In the meantime, as I announced to you last week, that the UNIPAS technology that's implementing the integrated customs management systems began full takeover, more or less, of activities around the port. And the other two existing vendors, that's West Blue, GCNet, handed over. They ceased operations. So ICUMS was in full control. We take a look at the first week of ICUMS in the port. From Monday, the 1st of June, 2020, all transactions related to the import and export of goods to the various ports were supposed to be conducted through the Integrated Customs Management Systems, ICUMS, which is powered by the UNIPAS technology, a system government touted to be a one-stop service for all customs clearance procedures, providing an end-to-end supply chain solution that incorporates and consolidates existing systems that were previously in operation. As a result, previous vendors GCNet and West Blue ceased operations in compliance with government directives. But the first day of complete takeover of operations by the UNIPAS technology at the port did not seem to have impressed users, as freight forwarders vehemently protested the non-functional aspects of the new technology.
UNIPAS, they don't find a platform. They are using GCNet platform. The GCNet platform belongs to GCNet, not belongs to UNIPAS. If you want to use your platform, bring your own platform to use it. You cannot just take up the responsibility once you are not prepared, because you should understand that there are containers, there are cars, there are so many things that are involved. Once you break one day, it's the final consumer suffers.
GCNet are the landlord people who are there for us before you people came. What are you supposed to do? You are supposed to come together and work together and see how effective they are.
The freight forwarders describe the total takeover by the new technology without a parallel run with previous vendors in a pilot phase as unhealthy, as several processes, including previous declarations made and approved EMDAs on the previous GIGS platform were inaccessible. Tax identification numbers, TIN, were not populating. Hence, UCR, which are the initial stages of the clearance processes, were not being done. Difficulty in migrating declarations and submission of house manifest were virtually impossible, amongst many other challenges.
So we paid the duty for 2 days now. We are still in the office. We cannot do anything about that manifest margin.
If it's going to happen this way, then I can tell you that about 90% of clearing agents and importers, so to speak, are going to make demurrage payments and rent payment as well.
When we go to the shipping line for the shipping line release, the shipping line is not able to go to the ICUMS system. It's not working.
Some of the tin pops up, some don't come at all. Some, when you are clicking to move ahead with the declarations, it doesn't go through. So the challenges were many.
The popular problem was that they can't even access the very platform. You need to input your tin, and the tin will populate and give you all other information before you can continue. It is just not working.
The development attracted the presence of the Minister of Trade to come to the port to interact with customs officials and the freight forwarders to resolve the situation. On the second day of the implementation of the ICUMS, it was realized that some shipping lines could not release cargoes that duties had been paid in previous gigs without a delivery order, and some tins were still not populating. But vessels were rotated and some shipping lines were sending both new and old manifest in the ICUMS. The system was also praised on the second day for eliminating post-entry declarations as it converted new exchange rates by itself.
The system will automatically calculate the duty with a new exchange rate and effect another bill of tax for you to pay for every week that the exchange rate changes. One good thing about this Unipass system is that, you see, on a single platform, you are able to create your UCL, your EMDs, and then your BOE creations, all in a single login.
On day 3, users of the technology expressed frustration and concern of incurring demurrages and rents because customs directed all manifest matching to be done temporarily by declarants and seek assistance from the ICUMS office physically when finding difficulties at a distant location from the port environment, which was creating congestion there.
On the 1st of June, what government ought to have said was to have asked ICUMS and the shipping line that from today, any vessel that is going to call into TEMA port from 1st of June, please send your manifest into ICUMS. Manifest that were already sent to GCNet system, please continue to work till you exit with those people. We wouldn't have gotten to where we are as we speak now.
The situation prompted the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, to officially express displeasure over operations of the new system. But on day 4, it was realized that bill of entries, BOEs, were gradually going through, but other issues such as manifest matching, shipping line release, etc., needed to be done by declarants themselves, and when difficulties encountered, seek help from the ICUMS office at a distance location away from the port. It was also realized on day 5 that ICUMS could not accept or reject amendment requests. CPCs were not responding to customs regimes, and there were errors in duty calculations. These have been the state of events until date as part of the first week of implementation of the ICUMS from the Unipass technology. But providers of the service and customs are urging users and beneficiaries of the system to trust the process because all challenges will be fixed. Okay, so indeed that's been the series of events for the past 1 week, and we'll continue to keep eye on that particular process. We will be delving into the matter going into the future because Customs has just released, has a press release out, and they're explaining some of the things that have already taken place. They're actually responding to Imani Ghana because Imani had put out something stating quite a number of things that they feel is not proper and is non-functional about the ICUMS. But Customs from the Commissioner General's office has responded to quite a number of those issues, about 9 of them. We're not going to delve into the ICUMS because that's not a subject for today. So nothing around ICUMS for today. We will find appropriate time and the appropriate panel to deal with the subject in detail when we get there. But we will continue to keep eye on the subject.
So even a smile through ICOM,
In the meantime, construction of TEMA MPAKADAN rail has resumed after about 70 persons contracted COVID-19, as we heard the railway minister said here last week.
The President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, on the advice of the Ministry of Health and the Ghana Health Service, has directed ICUMS, the company constructing the rail line from TEMA to MPAKADAN in the Sojaman district, to resume work immediately. The Eastern Regional Minister, Eric Kwache Dafoe, communicated the President's directive to the company at a short ceremony to welcome AFCON's workers back to site and reopen their work camp for the continuation of the project after it was suspended in March. According to reports, all the 82 workers of the company who tested positive for the coronavirus disease have recovered. The workers, mostly Indian supervisors and other workers of the company, had to quarantine themselves, leading to the suspension of work for more than 11 weeks, as was confirmed by the Minister of Railways Development, Joe Garte, on our report.
What happened was that over 70 people in that camp caught the disease.
Over 70
About
workers
70 people caught the disease. Yes,
I see.
Are there on that line, at the Pong camp. But
Ghanaians or foreigners?
Foreigners.
The Eastern Regional Minister said the railway line under construction is a major project dear to the government and the people of Ghana.
This railway line is supposed to get up north, and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is desirous to see its completion.
The Deputy General Manager of AFCON said every worker had learnt a lesson in one way or another from the outbreak of the pandemic and would abide by the safety protocols.
In life, everything happens for a reason, I believe. Surely we all will be able to learn something from this corona crisis.
Speakers at the ceremony emphasized the need for the workers to observe safety and hygienic protocols regarding COVID-19 and also charged Ghanaians in general and residents within construction areas to refrain from stigmatization against the workers.
And the Railway Ministry has signed about €500 million contract to begin the Western Rail Line. Government has signed a historic €500 million contract for the construction of sections of the Western Railway Line, according to the Minister of Railways Development, Joe Garte. The contract, signed on Wednesday, June 3, 2020, will see to the construction of a standard gauge rail line between Takoradi Harbour and Huni Valley. The deal is considered the largest single rail contract in the post-independence history of Ghana and was signed between government represented by the Ghana Railways Development Authority and the Amandi Limited.
This project consists of the construction of sections of the Western Railway Line standard gauge between Takoradi Port and Huni Valley, forming a total of 102 kilometers of continuous single-track railway line with stations along the tracks, an initial workshop facility, and an initial complement of rolling stock.
The Railways Development Minister explained that the project will form a total of 102 kilometers of continuous single-track railway line with sections along the tracks, an initial workshop facility at a location to be specified by the employer, and an initial complement of rolling stock. There will also be the conversion of 10.6 kilometer dual gauge tracks between Takoradi to Kujokrom from narrow gauge to standard gauge.
This will include the conversion works and materials involved and the supply of 10 new standard gauge turnouts. The construction of a bypass section along the Kujokrom to Mansu section of the Western Line at a shape to enhance the speed of the railway infrastructure and meet the requirement and specification in the reviewed 2020 Railway Master Plan.
Joe Garte asserted that the Ministry of Finance has approved the terms and conditions of the proposed loan that has been signed for the commercial contract. He said Amandi is an experienced company that built the 15-kilometer rail line from 2nd D to Kujokrom, 22-kilometer Kujokrom to Manso line, and the 4-kilometer rail line to Asaprochona, and are currently engaged in other construction works at the Takoradi Port. On Sunday, May 31st, 2020, the Railways Development Minister told Iron Port that the year 2004 was the last time cocoa was carted on the Western Line, a development that has negatively impacted the cost of doing cocoa business here in Ghana. He asserted that in order to address the situation, Western lines which are currently being revamped will relieve the pressure suffered by roads which get constantly destroyed by heavy-duty vehicles carrying goods. And now to completion of some projects. The Meridian Port Services has completed the phase 1 of the TEMA Port expansion project. Meridian Port Services, MPAs, and its landlord, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, have celebrated the full completion of phase 1 of the TEMA Port expansion project at the port of TEMA by laying the last pieces of the 41,500,000 pavement blocks to mark the end of works for the first phase of the project.
Today may be a day of celebration for reaching this significant milestone. However, much more than that, it is the beginning of a greater task ahead of us in realizing the vision that led to the creation of this project. We must achieve the full potential of this vast harbor basin in honor to those who toiled day and night to bring this creative plan to reality.
The scope of works for phase 1 of the expansion works included constructing a 3.5-kilometer long breakwater, an entrance channel dredged to 18 meters deep, and 3 berths where vessels with draft up to 16 meters can dock. The first 98 of the 127 hectares of this container terminal was built on land reclaimed from the sea. The area is fully paved, and the works included drainage, wastewater treatment plant, water and fire hydrants, electrical and IT fiber networks, 1,400 reefer container plugs, and a 12-megawatt backup power plant. The board chairman of MPAs, Dr. Edmondo Say Tutu Prempe, praised the leadership vision, team spirit, and hard work that have been exhibited by all stakeholder institutions in making the project a reality.
In the description of what has happened in this short period, relatively short period of time, when this has become possible, as I will be commending here, everyone who has made it possible.
The board chairman of GPHA, Peter McMenu, in a speech read on his behalf by the Director General of GPHA, Michael Lugje, said the expansion project places Ghana on a global scale with significant benefits to the logistics chain, which will transform the dynamics of the maritime trade for many years to come.
Over 41 million blocks have been laid here. Each block perhaps represents the future generations that will benefit from this project. As we lay the last blocks, may we remember that our present actions will impact the survival and development of the next generation. Congratulations to all who have contributed to this successful story.
The Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Kwadwo Kyerematen, said the project will make Ghana more competitive in terms of international trade.
Port infrastructure, port facilities are not an end in themselves. They are meant to be a means of facilitating trade. And with the level of efficiency of the operations of MPS so far, I'm very convinced that we would optimize the facilitation of trade in Ghana and in West Africa.
The Minister of Transport, Kweku Ofori-Esiama, in a speech read on his behalf by the Deputy Minister of Transport, Daniel Nikwatei Titus Glover, commended the technological infrastructure deployed at the Terminal 3 and called for stakeholder support to all IT innovations to ensure ease of doing business.
The port remains one of the most critical sectors of the Ghana's economy, accounting for 90% of Ghana's international trade. His Excellency the President and the Commander-in-Chief of our Armed Forces, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, since assuming office, has placed greater emphasis on the need to improve capacity and business environment in our ports.
On 28th of June 2019, a symbolic key for Terminal 3 was handed to MPs by the engineers to signify the go live of the expansion project, and on 1st July 2019, physical operations began at the new Terminal 3. And the President of the Republic has also inaugurated a first phase of the motorway interchange. President Akufo-Addo has inaugurated the first phase of the newly constructed TEMA Motorway Interchange with an assurance that the second phase of the project will commence by the last quarter of the year 2020. President Akufo-Addo, addressing the inauguration ceremony, said the project, which is part of the Ghana International Corridors project, would bring to an end the inconveniences of unbearable traffic at the then Rotary Roundabout and improve the international road network connectivity of Ghana in compliance with the national transport policy of expanding and upgrading the international corridors of Ghana to achieve integrated, efficient and sustainable transport system and help Ghana achieve the objective of being a transport hub of West Africa.
That is why we're determined to complete major road projects like the Pokwase Interchange, the Eastern Corridor roads, the Bogotanga-Pulimakum Road, the Tamale Interchange, the Trifo-Praso-Asinfosu Road, the Lekma Road, the Suhum-Asaman-Kesi-Oda Road, the Benjamin Junction-Adrafo Road, to mention but a few.
The TEMA Motorway Roundabout was a 5-leg roundabout where traffic from Accra and Port of Tema, Akosombo, Aflao and Tema Community 9 converged, causing heavy traffic congestion all the time, with worse situations during rush hours. The congestion at the roundabout became an impediment to smooth and safe movement of people and goods, which negatively affected productivity and economic activities, especially in Ghana's industrial city of Tema. The increase in volumes of cargo at the port and anticipated further increase as a result of the ongoing expansion works at the port of Tema have also contributed significant increase in truck traffic at the roundabout.
For many, many years, residents living in and around the Tema metropolis and motorists plying this route have had to endure the inconvenience of unbearable traffic and a poor road network when traversing the then Rotary intersection.
The Minister of Roads and Highways, Kwesi Amoakwata, expressed optimism that the new interchange will facilitate trade and transit in West Africa.
Traffic congestion at the then known Rotary Roundabout has been a major challenge for many years. This became an impediment to smooth and safe movement of people and goods, thus reducing the economic growth potential of our dear nation, Ghana.
Country Director of Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, said his outfit would continue to foster partnerships with Ghana, particularly in the areas of infrastructure development. Japanese Ambassador to Ghana, Chutomo Himeno, expressed joy and pride over Japan-Ghana relationship. Emphasizing the relationship between Ghana and Japan, President Akufo-Addo paid tribute to all who contributed to the successful completion of the project.
We appreciate very much the excellent long-standing relations our country enjoys with Japan, and we expect that the execution of this project will serve to deepen further those relations.
The President said Phase 2 of the TEMA Interchange project was scheduled to commence in the last quarter of the year, saying it would see the transformation of the parallel 2-tier interchange into a 3-tier one to hasten further the turnaround time of the intersection. Okay, so we're going to move to our subject for today, and that's looking at a case study of a swindled borehole importer who is getting, or who has gotten judicial relief from the courts, and we're also going to look at some of the lessons we can learn out of that. But before then, last week I promised you that we're going to get some responses to those of you who sent comments and you wanted to ask the railway ministers, railways development ministers questions. So what we did is that we're able to get some of those answers for you. Listen to that quickly, if you are still interested, and then we'll come to our subject. This one says, will the rail lines pass through Boko? Well, according to the minister, yes, the lines will pass through Boko, and it's stipulated in the master plan. Please, is Accra TEMA Railway working? The minister says work was ongoing throughout the year 2019, but halted due to COVID-19. Work should resume soon. Jojo from Kaswa says, I appreciate the work Rail Ministry is doing, and I want to know when they are reviving the eastern lines, that is from Asimfosu, Achimachianse to Kede through Accra. Jojo, the minister says this is a central line and part of the Kotoku-Huni Valley line. Feasibility is ongoing on that stretch. Yakubu from Tamale says, please, when will the northern part of the country get their own share of the Ministry of Railways good works? Yakubu, the railway minister says that line is part of the master plan and construction will soon hit the northern part of Ghana. Please, can you ask the ministers to consider subway in our cities? Well, the minister says subways are quite expensive and there are no immediate plans yet. Kofi says, I will be glad to know whether all these rail constructions have considered heritage impact assessment. Well, Kofi, the minister says someone is undertaking a private project on this. Same from Atimpoku says, why is it taking the railway minister a long time to pick conversation with those on Pong, Eswejaman and Atimpoku line? We have not been paid for almost 3 years. According to the Ministry of Railways, compensation is assessed by the Lands Commission according to Article 20 of the Constitution. And until the land valuation and assessment is done, the Railway Ministry cannot make payment. But they are sure that compensation or payment is on its way. Diamond Collins from Mid-Year in Sawem says, honestly, your program is the only television program I pay attention to because it's quite educative. Please, you and your team should keep up the good work. This is a great program because I didn't know exactly what was happening to the rail development program in Ghana. Now I know. So now let's take a look at the story of Inshira Borehole.
An importer by name Inshira walked into the offices of Iron Port and reported that he handed over an amount of approximately 84,000 Ghana cedis to a clearing agent, one Eric Senyo Labi, to help him clear his truck meant for drilling boreholes.
Eric. I test his full name. His name is Eric Labi Senyo. I tested to him. Immediately I called, then he picked. I told him what he's doing to me. Is it good? Because Indian, I mean him no kura our India hono. Agent ni ji iskano or ye adwuma na correct. Ade wo mo awoya Ghana ni ade na bedu ha. Ye ade no keke mame no na wo play hide and seek.
According to him, since handing over the money to the agent, he absconded with the money, leaving him to his fate.
The stress is letting me pass through with taking my money and then not seeing you, not picking my call, not doing anything. It's very terrible, boss. You go and buy this whole thing, waste a lot of money, come to Ghana for your fellow black man, even the Indian agent over there at Mumbai port didn't do this.
As part of efforts to get to the bottom of this issue, a number of freight forwarder associations were contacted to ascertain whether the clearing agent is a member of the associations, but it turned out to be that he is not a member of these associations. Further investigations by the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders revealed that the said agent used the company by name Gold Line Logistics to send a declaration to customs without the knowledge of the owner.
So I went to him and I asked him, a complaint has been lodged that your company has collected some importer's money, to clear his car. And up to now, over a month now, the car has not been cleared. What is happening? And he said he's not aware. So he actually had to call about 5 people to even find out who actually even sent the declaration.
The owner of the company was not aware?
No, he wasn't aware.
After seeing the frustration the importer was going through, a technical committee member of GIF, Kweku Otredako, assisted him to have his truck cleared from the port after the importer went for another loan.
Well, I assisted him. I gave one of my workers that at no fee, we should just help him get, the car out of the port and then later see whether we can get hold of Senyo to return the money to him.
At the time, the duty to be paid had increased and the marriage and other charges had also gone up, totaling about 102,000 Ghana cedis. Meanwhile, the president of ACHAG, Yao Che, has expressed worry over the activities of unregistered clearing agents and cautioned the public to be wary of them.
I'm sure when you go to the airport, you see them standing somewhere. Can I help you? Can I help you? In TEMA, we have them. Can I help you? Can I help you? And some of our importing public also fall prey to these people. Can I help you? Okay, I have a document here. He gives it to gives the document to the individual. He may not even have even an ID card. Now he manages to entice a company, a registered company, and executes the processes through it with the blessings of customs.
Smile Agbemenu, supervisor in charge of Customs Policy and Programs Department, also said Customs does not open up its electronic platforms to unlicensed agents.
We do not give access to our electronic platform for submission of declarations to anybody at all. Now, if you allow your platform to be used for the submission of that document, then it means that you have given your consent to that. We'll come after you, not that individual anywhere we cannot.
So that is the story, and that is what happened. And fortunately, we have Inshra on the line. The reason we are taking this story back again is that Inshra has spent some time going through the courts and trying to get his money back from the clearing agent who sort of duped him. And finally, the court has taken decision. So we want to take the outcome of the court's decision and then learn some lessons from it and probably get advice from the men who are in charge of things also around the port business there. Hello, Inshra.
Yes, sir.
Inshra? Hello?
Hello, yes, sir.
Okay, we can hear you loud and clear now. So tell us what has happened ever since. You got your goods cleared out of the port, and then what?
Yes, we got the goods out of the port, and then we took the matter up. Looking for the guy.
Okay. So did you find the guy, the clearing agent?
It took, 6 weeks.
6 weeks before you got him?
Yes, with the help of the Ghana Police Service, then we had him.
I see. And then what? How did you get your money back or what?
Yeah, we had our money back. He took it up. When he was arrested, he brought his lawyers there, and then they gave him bail on the same day. So the policeman, the CID, went to look for someone to stand in for him, and then he also took him to his house where he's staying, and then the person who will give him bail, and then with the court case.
Okay. And then what happened at the courts?
Yes, we went to court for 2 months, 2 weeks, I think, for courts, We went to court for 2 months, 2 weeks. Before the last day of the court, before that day, the judge will schedule for another day to come to court. The judge told him he's giving him the last chance because the guy was having so many issues at the court.
The same guy?
The same guy has duped so many clearing. He's a clearing agent.
Importers.
Who has so many clients, yeah.
I see.
So many importers. So the judge gave him the last chance. He should bring the money or the judge will give a judgment.
Okay. And then what? Was he able to provide the money to you then?
Yes, so the lawyers came to me of the guy, the lawyers of the Eric Senior Lobby. They came to me at my office. We sat down, and then they said they will pay the money. So I told them, if you pay the money, I need all the money. So before the court case, they said we should take the case out of court. I said, no, I need the money before we take the case out of court. So, the day before the court case, they came to me with all the money in bulk, and then they paid, and then we went to the registrar to take the case out.
Okay, so you're satisfied now, fully?
Yes, fully, sir.
You're fully satisfied?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, that's the essence of this particular show today, because what it is that we sometimes get chastised, or the entire system gets chastised, that people complain and they don't get results. Now we are happy to hear that you are satisfied because you got assistance from even the freight forwarder associations themselves, and today you are satisfied, you got your goods out, you also got your money back. But what would you say? What lessons have you learned out of this?
Yes, the lessons is, you don't have to trust people too much. Someone will recommend someone to you, and then upon the recommendation, you have to make a good follow-up. Don't give your money to a clearing agent to clear the goods for you. What you have to do, someone recommended the guy to me when I came to Ghana to clear my goods.
Yeah. And
then when he recommended the guy, I thought he knew where the guy lives and all that. So we went to his office. He has office at Committee 2, which when upon investigation of the police, that's where he dupes people.
Yeah.
So when you go to his office, you don't see the office is a well-built place. He has rented a place, a nice office, but there's no worker there. You go there, you arrange some workers there. The next day when they take the money, when you come looking for him, you not see anyone. So when they take your money, you don't chase to get hold of him. It took us 1 month, 2 weeks to get him.
Wow.
To get him. He has off his phone. We are not getting track of him. The police also play their part. If you sit down and then you don't chase these people, you never get your money.
Yeah.
Because there are so many criminals walking around TEMA, Habo. You would think they are working by their criminals. When they get hold of your money, to get your money back is very, dangerous. You just have to tracking them from one place to the other, It took us 6 weeks to get hold of this guy. He's not the only person doing that. They are, it's like a group of people. He's not the only person. So, importers should be very careful.
Okay. So in this case, you didn't even know the office of the person you handed that money to. And how much was it?
No, I knew his office, but it's a fake office.
It's a fake one.
He took us to an office. He gave us a receipt when we handed the money to him.
Okay.
And then when from the office, we went to the harbor. He started like he's doing some work. He's processing the documents for the clearing. First day, second day, you see him. Then afterwards, you never see him again. Then he just be tracking him. Going to the police station, here and there. We did it down. Because the money was very huge. And then we can't sit down for all this money to go with.
Israel,
I learned he has done so many of this. He has so many cases at the time. I don't know why this seminar is still working around. So when we got hold of him, the judge gave him the ultimatum to bring the money, or she will pass a final judgment. So they paid the money before the next day of the court.
I see. And Israel, you got a lot of assistance from the beginning, from the freight forwarding fraternity. If you can share that aspect also with us.
Yes. When I made my case, when this case happened, we went to report to the police station. We went to the police station, we made our reports, our complaints, and then they directed us to the Gapua office. Thank you, Mr. Ajimai, the host of this show. From your directions also, and then the freight forwarders, some people who knew the guy also started tracking him for us. Because, in all this, there are good ones around. In all this, although the bad ones are plenty around TEMA. So importers should be very careful. And there are good ones. This guy has established different, the guy who took the money, Eric Senior Labi, he went to about 4 offices which have been closed. When he takes your money, because the money is huge, he will go and open another office here. And then upon tracking, before we got hold of him, we use someone's document to get hold of him.
Okay. Thank you, Inshra. We'll leave it here, and we appreciate your time, and we also thank you for having patience and also trusting the port environment, the Ports and Harbours Authority. We continue to hope and pray that you continue to do business, import more. Okay, I hope you are going to bring another borehole machine, borehole track.
Yes, sir, very soon, sir.
KOD sends his regards. He's in the studio.
Oh, thank you, Mr. KOD. Very good man. He also helped us in, clearing the bush. Very good.
Okay.
His assistance is very vital.
My friend, I thank you. We'll speak on the other side. So in the studio, we have Smile Agbemenu. He's a supervisor, Customs Policy and Programs Department. Also, Mr. Kweku Ochredakun, we call him KOD, Executive Member Committee of Freight Forwarder Association. KOD, you assisted your friend a lot when we contacted you to come in with this particular matter. Yeah. Today, the court has come to his side. He's gotten his money. He's excited. How does that make you feel? And what do you make of the outcome, though?
Well, Ajman, I think, let me say, it's a good news that in the long run, he's been able to recoup his money back that was given to this senior lobby. I think when he reported the case, I took it upon myself and then reported to the GIF Technical Committee, who gave me the opportunity to also take the issue up. So like he said, I handled the case from the beginning to the end. The machine was cleared at the port, with no fee, because we kept tracking the guy. I was speaking to Senior on several occasions with chat and all that, asking him that, my brother, you are young, just return the rest of the money. Even if you have spent some, just return some of the money so that we could clear the machine.
So you knew the guy? He's actually an existing guy?
Yes, I know him, to be fair. I know him. So when
he's a clearing agent?
Yeah, when he showed me his picture, we know ourselves, but until you see somebody,
yeah,
you can't recognize
him. So when you saw the picture, you knew that
I knew the guy. So I made several contacts to get him, but all was to no avail. He didn't come close. So what I said, okay, I advise the importer to look for, another fund, because the car was gradually moving into the 60 days moratorium. And if he does not take care, it could be seized
by
after
customs.
60 days. Yeah, so I advised him that he make some money available for us to clear, which he did. So after clearing, he told me he was going to track the guy till, if he has done it to so many people and they did not mind him, he wasn't going to allow the guy to.
And the money was huge.
Yeah, about 60 to 70,000 Ghana cedis was huge. So later on, he called me one day and said, is his money to get the guy arrested? And I said, okay, we thank God. And then, but I didn't hear anything about the court case until you called me yesterday that the court has given the verdict and then his money, is given back to him. And I think it's good. It's a good sign that the judge did not allow the case to travel for a long time. Sometimes when these people are duped and the case is sent to court, the back and forth sometimes discourage some of these people.
Is that the experience?
Yeah, but if you listen to him, what he said the guy has so many cases at the court.
Yeah, already.
So if he has already, so what have they been doing, with him? And he's still walking around, going, freely. So I think it's very interesting to hear what the guy just said.
Yeah.
So he has proven that he could do to other people, but he wasn't going to allow him to also take advantage of him. And then he has done well by getting his money back. But what I would say is that, you see, sometimes people fall to some of these things. Sometimes some of the importers are also partly to be blamed. For instance, let me give you a scenario, for instance. About 2 weeks ago, I got a client introduced me to who had imported a Range Rover from America, a 2020 Range Rover. And then, just when I started the process of acquiring the CCVR and the DXs to be paid, the importer called me and said somebody had given her a quote that is 87,000 Ghana cedis. So if my go beyond that, she wasn't going to allow me to clear the content. I said, really? This is a 2020 Range Rover. One, you are not going to enjoy the 50%, you're not going to have any discount because it is new. And then you are not also going to enjoy the 30% even discount that the government has given.
Why?
It's a brand new car.
Oh, it doesn't affect brand new cars. Okay.
We have invoice.
It's on HDV.
It's on HDV, so you cannot get any, this facility. She insisted no. She was still going to allow those people to clear. So after the CCVR, I called her and told her, this is the duty. The duty was about 114,000 Ghana cedis. She said, no. Wow. I told you earlier somebody has given me 87,000 Ghana cedis. And together everything was going to be 92,000. So I need my document. Quickly, I called Romeo and said, Romeo, somebody is coming to the office for the document. So I called the person who introduced the importer to me and said, this is what I have done.
I couldn't have done anything better than what I've done. So if he's still not satisfied, I'm handing over the documents to the president. And they came for the document. 2 weeks later, I was there and I received a call. Mr. KOD, I said, yes, where are you? I said, what is it? We want to discuss something with you. I said, what is it? Can you come to my office? And he said, so I was there when they came. I saw two guys and said, boss, we are here with some letters. What's the issue? About the Range Rover. I said, okay, have you been able to clear? I said, no. Apparently, we couldn't even do anything about it. If we had known, we would have. We should
just
have
let you clear a long time.
I said, no, I'm not even going to. I'm not interested. So what can I do to help you? And they said, okay, because I created a UCR in getting the CCVR, they have to do attachment, but they had gone for the value for the personal event at the loan room, and they have to do attachment. And because I did the CCVR, I have the UCR at my front end. They cannot do the attachment at where they were going to clear. So I did attachment for them, and they asked me how much I was going to take them. I said, no, I'm not taking anything for you. But that time the container had entered into demurrage.
I see.
The importer was crying that she was going to pay demurrage and rent. So if he had allowed me to clear, maybe she wouldn't have genuinely.
So it means that the importers get...
Some of them are partly to be blamed because they are attracted to people who will give them low prices.
Even though they can't even
I am a professional. For instance, if you call me KOD, I have a 40-liter container containing water. How much can you use to clear for me? I mean, we are not at Mokola or Kaishi.
You don't just bargain like that.
No, bring your document, bring your import document, bring your bill of lading, bring your invoice, and bring your packing list. Let me process it through custom, before you get the system. Value. When I get the value, I'll be able to tell you how much you're going to pay. Fine, if the things are benchmark, for instance, if they are tiles, or if they are, let's say, an item that I normally clear, which I can have a figure around.
You can have an estimated figure.
ID plus or minus. I'll be able to tell you something. But from a word go, somebody is taking 20,000 to clear 40,000. I say, I don't work like that. And those people are not the professionals. They are not professionals. He's saying there are many. I'm telling you, these miscreants that he's talking about, they are not many. There are few people in the system. They will not even be up to 0.5% of the whole freight forwarders, fraternity in TEMA.
I see.
There are just a few people, and they are a gang.
And you know them?
We don't know them, but he said they are not many. There are some few people around. And, they know them. See, when I did my background check, I told you that when I called the director of the company himself, and he said he is not aware of this. I went to the office and even spoke to the data entry clerk in the office. He also said he doesn't even know anything about this declaration. And then he had to also call another person. And that person said, okay, somebody came to do this declaration there. So we realized that this person was not even part of the company in the first place.
I see.
You understand what I'm saying? He's just a freelance, he called himself a freight forwarder because anybody who goes to the port says, I'm a clearing agent, I'm a freight forwarder. So we don't even know which actually it's a freight forwarder.
Yeah.
And you see, let me tell you something. Even in the kingdom of heaven, in the kingdom of God, that's where Satan came from.
They can still be the
fraudsters are everywhere. In the judiciary, in customs, in teaching. You see, when it comes to recruitment, you hear people posing as having link with custom officers, people having with higher authorities. I can help you get, admission and recruiting and all that. At the end of the day, what happens? They are fraudsters.
Yeah.
So they are everywhere. You see, but when it comes to clearing agents, people treat it
so it's up to the importer to really be vigilant.
That's the point. I mean, I keep saying that if you are an importer and you're looking for a clearing agent, you can go to PNP, for instance, where my good
Policy
friends,
and programs.
Yeah, Smile is a supervisor there. He has the data of every, custom house agency and their telephone numbers. They will be able to tell you that, okay, go to company A or company B, or go to customs, or even go to Gift Secretariat. Catherine is there, our administrator is there. She'll be able to even give you anybody that, in case there's a problem, we can trace and then get hold of that person. You understand? But when somebody introduces somebody, like you said, you see, and they're very cunning. They've rented a good office, fully furnished, the place. So when you enter there, I mean, you'll be convinced that if this is the office that
he's operating from,
then
he's legit.
Giving you 16,000, 17,000 Ghana cedis, even if you both away, I can come and pack this thing. And those are the tricks some of them use.
I'll come back to you on that group of people. But Smile, what do you make? You knew this case from the beginning as well. You were here in the studio where we talked about this. What do you make of the outcome? What lessons do you think the likes of Inshira Borehole can take out of this? And also, what advice do you give to some of the clearing agents who have resorted to this area of operation?
Okay. Let me say, I bring you warm greetings from the Commissioner General, the Commissioner and Management of Customs. Yes, of course, I had followed this case, especially when they actually even came to office at the early beginning
yes, very
stages.
good. Yeah,
and
that's true.
Wanted to know some details about it, and we also did assist. It's good the affected person had been able to be compensated.
Sure.
Yes,
Good.
that is good news. But we'll keep saying that until you build trust with the agent, you just need to be careful. You do not have to give money to the agent to make payment on your behalf. You can actually do that payment on yourself.
Sure.
You can. So in the case of, what's his name again? Inshira. In the case of Inshira, there was no need for him to have given money to the agent.
Okay.
Let the agent do everything for you. When it is time for payment, you can go with the agent to the designated bank and do payment by yourself.
Okay.
That you know that the money is actually going into the government account.
Sure. Okay.
And not that of the individual.
Okay.
But if you build trust with the person, fair, you can do that. But you do not have to do that. The agent just needs to give you the document, and then you go to the bank, or you use any of our payment platforms, and you do your payment.
Yeah, but even on the trust basis, he just said that he has learned that you can't trust anybody. So you don't want to say that you have built trust and so just collect this huge sums of money and go pay for me. When I don't know, we are not from the same house and all of that.
These are relationship issues. So, well, of course, we do not come in. If I trust that if I give you something, you are able to hold in trust that for me, I will be able to do that. That is between you and I, right? But if it has to do with money, and you are not just too sure, keep the money to yourself. When it is time for payment, go to the bank and do the payment. You see, there are requirements you need to meet if you want to become a custom house agent, a licensed one. One has to do with your display of the license. For your permanent office, you see, we need to identify that location.
Yeah.
And you must display the license in the office.
Sure.
Scrupulously, so that anybody who enters the office sees that you are actually a licensed custom house agent.
Yeah. It's like the...
Don't meet anybody outside of offices and begin to give documents to them. Get to their offices and do that one. If you are not too sure of the office, go to a custom office and then verify. As he said, we have records of all the custom house agents, the licensed ones, and then we know their offices of operations. So when you come to our office, we'll be able to give you a guide as to which agent you may be dealing with.
But Smile, in this case, he had been taken to a very well-furnished office and probably with all these licenses displayed.
Verify. There's nothing wrong verifying. In the first instance, you have come to an office. Just do a verification. Go to a office. If you go to the association executive offices, they will confirm. They know their members. If you go to a custom office, we will confirm as well. We know the locations. But if you go to an office, an open office, and you think that probably what you are seeing is
convincing.
Convincing enough, that is your judgment. You see, just do a verification.
Okay.
At least for the first time.
And then he's also talking about the fact that the guy has done this to a lot of people. He's working free and even still operating. How is he able to still operate as such when all of these things have, he has cases in court, judges know that this is the situation, and the fellow is still walking around? How is that possible?
Again, if you're not a licensed custom house agent, you can have the office, you can have all those things, but you will not be able to have access to our electronic platforms. So you will need to engage a licensed agent. So normally those people, what they do is that they would collect documents from you and go to a licensed agent and use their facility to do the work.
I see.
You see, so
not their own facility,
because
their
they
name.
do not have that facility reach out to us directly.
Okay.
So they will definitely go to a license office and do that.
Okay. But customs, you license these professionals. When you hear that somebody like that is going about and doing all of these things in the name of the people that you license, what action can you take? You still just watch him walk around just because you haven't licensed him yet? He's using your platform to dupe a lot of people?
Activities that happen outside, we wouldn't know.
Sure.
You see?
But it's brought to your notice.
If
like
it is
this.
brought on, like this one, we're able to, assist. I said KOD came to our office during the initial stages,
yeah.
and then we're able to assist. What we say is that if I know you, just because we've had some interactions, and then because of that you have some trust in me and you give me documents to do some processes for you, if I dwindle you, that is between you and I, not because customs is to be involved.
Sure.
But then if you engage a licensed custom house agent, and that agent, you see, conducts an act which is a more practice, then we can use the provisions of the law to sanction.
Okay, what I'm trying to find out is that, yes, he's not licensed by you, but here is a fellow who is probably, he's an imposter. Maybe you want to call him an imposter. He's posing as a clearing agent, somebody licensed by you to dupe people. And the matter has, the person has been arrested, the person has been sent to court, he's back, he continues to do that. Can customs do anything about that? Do you have some legal mandate? The person is using, he doesn't have your license though, but he's using the...
So he's an imposter?
He's an imposter.
Yeah, so in that case, it goes beyond customs.
Okay.
If the person dupes customs, then he has a problem with customs. Then
Really?
Yes, I mean, like you said, this is outside customs because he has taken an individual's money and he has squandered it or he has bolted away with it.
Okay.
And in this case, the insurer has made us aware that he has series of cases pending at the court.
Yeah.
So if you are asking SMA what action they can
whether customs should be able
they
to,
cannot, because it's an
customs
individual. It is the court. If this person has been reported by so many people as having duped them, then it's up to the court to take action, not customs. If, for instance, I'm a licensed freight forwarder or a clearing and forwarding agent, and then I've been given money to pay customs duties, and then I decided not to pay the duty, but maybe by far means or get the container out, then I enter into custom tentacles. That one, custom will have to deal with me as a professional or as an individual because I have taken away government money or have squandered, I've booted away government money. But when it has to do with individual, then it's a criminal case. So that is why the insurer went to court. If insurer had gone to customs, he couldn't have retrieved this money.
Of course.
Yes. So this is illegal.
Okay. Okay. So I see the conversation is running on Facebook, and we are live on Facebook. I am Port Ghana. Mr. Yauche on Facebook says the fact still remains that operate. Okay. Let me start from what he started with. This is my eyes. Okay. Yeah. Mr. Yauche says, and that's the president of ACHAG, he says, very unfair to describe agents as criminals. This is a case of a single criminal who is out to tarnish the image of freight forwarders. This is not the general attitude of the average agent.
Yes.
He has many cases at the court.
Yeah.
There are fake lawyers, fake doctors, fake military persons,
I said it
etc. He goes on to say that the fact still remains that importers fish out for the cheapest duties and generally fall prey to fraudsters. Importers at times negotiate on duties and get it all wrong. I have had many importers turn me down because duties worked out for them may be too much for them. Just like the example you gave.
I think I've said whatever Mr. Yauche has just said.
Yeah,
I have said there are fake doctors. There are, we have criminals in every sector of this, of this economy. That's what I'm saying. So,
yeah.
But
and I see people are trying to also call to share their experiences. You can call and share your experiences. Just to announce quickly this one. The number that you can call is 020-552-8353. That's the number you can call. You can call now. The number you should WhatsApp on is 055-901-9177.
You see, when it comes to the issue of trust,
yeah,
like Smile was trying to explain, I have clients that for 2-3 years that I've been working for them, I have never seen their faces.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it depends on the individual. I have people that have been clearing for, especially in Kumasi, for 2-3 years. I have never seen
And they still
them,
hand you physical money.
They transfer money into my account.
But isn't that
no,
risky?
I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. It depends on the individual. You can walk to the person's office, seeing everything fully furnished, see his workers and all that. If the person will defraud you, he will still defraud you. You know what I'm saying? These people are completely frosted. They are not.
So what should people do? Because Kyori, I just want, if there is a way we can nip this in the bud, because you probably, because you sit on TV, you talk a lot about, and you're executive member of GIFT, they can verify your details, and so after they verified all of these things, after a while they can trust and continue to send money to you.
Sure.
But what about others? I mean, I'm in Canada. I want somebody to clear my goods in Ghana. They have mentioned somebody. I have checked his details. He's a legit person. What do I do? And I want to hand money. I can't come to Ghana, go to the bank and pay.
Ajiman, the fact still remains that it depends on the individual. If the person is a good person, you can be in Canada, even just get my details on, my website or Facebook or custom online and all that. Transfer money to me. If I'm a bad person, I may still bolt away with your money. If I'm a good person, I will go ahead and clear the car, come and even put it in my house and call you that I have cleared your car from the port. You can send anybody to come and clear. So these are individual differences. You understand what I'm saying? These people are not professional custom house agents. They are just fraudsters. They are just in there to dip. And I'm saying they don't represent even 0.5% of the total number of people clearing agents. That is the case.
Let me just even say this. So you are in Canada, let's say somebody recommends, and I keep saying this again. If you have a family member, if you want to do a transfer the money into the family member's account. Let the agent do all the documentation for you. When it gets to the time of payment, use your family member to do the payment.
Okay.
Just keep the money away from the agent. You see, when you build a trust, as he has said, over 2 years he's been working with people. He has never seen their faces.
But you're sending money to him.
Yes, so that is good. That is between him and these clients. But if you are just not too sure, keep the money, let the agent do the documentations for you. When it gets to the time of payment, let that be done by you.
Okay. Let me pick Henry from Takrade. He's been on the line for a while. Hello, Henry.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Henry.
Good evening, boss.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yes, I have a problem. You see, with Mr. KOD, I believe Mr. KOD is speaking from the agent side.
Yes.
So he tried to defend it, but I have a problem with the customs officer. You have licensed company A, and company A lets somebody who is not licensed come to their office and use their letterhead or their stamp to access the customs portal, and that's wrong business. Because you do not know the unlicensed person, why don't you sanction the company that allows the freelance person to use their access to your platform? That is the way customs can help to check these things. And Mr. KOD is saying those people are minute. They are not minute. I have a lot of experience with them. So I've stopped shipping, taking goods from TEMA. Now I'm in Takrade, so I let them bring it straight to Takrade. They are more than 50% of the people who call themselves clearing agents in TEMA.
That's by your estimation, Henry. That's by your estimation, right?
That area. They are more than 50%, not less than 5.5.
Henry.
Customs can also help us.
Okay.
Okay. Customs can. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, Henry.
Yeah, customs can help us, the importers.
Yeah.
You see, for me, because I was in Takrade, most of the time when I get there, I did not have access to the customs officers to know. So always I deal through the agent. Customs can help us make a lot of information available.
Okay.
You see, let us be able to access your portals in a way not to, but to know the cost of some of these things, so that when the agents come, we know that fine, this is what the objective cost I'm paying to customs. What you are going to add is maybe your agency fees or something. Okay. But most of the time, what these agents do is that they tell you I'm going and come. They come, you see the paper they have given you, the documents, the amount written on it is maybe there's a 30,000. He is telling you about 45,000. Whatever they take from you, they don't give you receipts to fully show that full amount.
Okay.
So they make us know that there's a way, maybe there's something that they do. So customs can help us making all these things easily available some of us who read a little bit, we can access the internet portal, declare our goods, and know our duties and costs there. So that when the agent comes, I know that the agent, I'm just going to add the agency fees to whatever I've said from the customs portal.
Okay.
That will help a lot of these things so that we can weed out the bad, not amongst this type of business. Thank you very much.
Henry, I don't want you to go yet. A quick one, because I appreciate the fact that, you know, you are deep, and then you also mentioned that you read a lot. So there's something about statistics that you need to get clear. To generally or generalized statistics is quite crucial. You have no idea the number of freight forwarders we have in this country, quite a huge number. So it would probably be fallacious on your part to say that about 50% of them would not be legit. So it's possible.
Like people like Mr. KOD, people like Mr. KOD who are licensed, who are trained and professional. Most of them don't. They are executives.
Hello, Henry.
Yes, people like Mr. KOD, the licensed ones, they are chief executives. They kind of sit and direct. Those who actually go around doing the small boys, they have a lot of friends, a lot of parties who are working with them, who are not licensed, and they are the ones creating the problems.
Okay, that's clear. That's clear enough.
The ones are hardly on the field, except it is a big consignment or big container, something that is worth their time for them to go on the field. But a lot of the time, the lackeys, the boys that they send, they have their friends who are not trained, who are coming to look for work to do, and they in turn do a lot of these things. I'll tell you, I've experienced it most of the time.
I see. From the way you are talking, I think it's understandable. So thank you very much. But again, I would still want you to be very careful with the statistics, which I can clearly tell you that that's not the case. Kodi, you want to respond, and I'll ask Smile about a few things.
I think what we have to do as chief executives of various companies is to avoid stamping for outsiders. I mean, that is what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
For me, in my office, apart from my own job, nobody works outside from my office. You understand what I'm saying? Because that is where you're likely to find some of these fraudsters coming to you, your license, and then at the end of the day, putting your company, into this kind of mess. And it's something that custom will not countenance if your company is found to have been involved in such, more practices. Say, when it's time for renewals and all that, queries come from PMP asking you all sort of questions. So I will entreat my fellow chief executives of various companies to also desist from stamping for, outsiders, because they normally create this problem. And I insist that these people will not even amount to 0.5% of our total population. In fact, they are few.
Let me ask you though, how can it be made impossible for the companies to stamp for others? How can we do that?
Yes, it's by being very responsible for whatever you do as a chief executive. And also it makes sure that, sometimes we CEOs don't have time to sit in our offices and monitor whatever our data entry clerks do. Don't forget, we are in this 21st century, this technological age where documents are sent on WhatsApp. You will sit in your office, your secretary is sitting in his office, and then before you realize he's sending, a document in the system without your knowledge. It happens if you have an unfaithful data entry clerk. These people send the document through them via WhatsApp, and then they send it. And now, because now signature of documents is no more needed because everything is done online, it also gives them the opportunity to do that. But like I said, with ICUMS, for instance, this is why I'm just veering in, not small. No, I'm not saying anything about it. You see, maybe I have to say it so that when he go, he can correct it. Administrators are not able to view work done by our subordinates. I smile. You see, these are some of the challenges. If I have the front end to monitor what somebody does, I can quickly also prompt or get alert and then stop certain things. So we have to be responsible. We have to be very, very effective and also be part of whatever that goes on in our company. Otherwise, we will continue to have some of these cases coming, out every day. Sunny.
I'll pick Solomon from Agotime in the Volta region quickly, and then I'll come to Smile. Hello, Solomon.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening, Solomon.
Hello. Can you hear me, sir?
We can all hear you, please. Go ahead.
Okay. I am Solomon from Volta region. I want to say I'm very sorry for that importer who was caught up in this sort of act. And then purposely online to say congratulations to Mr. KOD for being able to deal with people for 23 years who used to pay money into his account. People he's not even seen before. Congratulations for being able to build that sort of trust over these years. I really wish I talked to this man personally offline. That is my concern for this evening, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, Smile, let me find out, how can you, customs, make it impossible for the companies that you license to stamp for others? Because that's where it looks like the bottom line is.
Again, access to our platform is controlled. Sure. However, it is over the internet. So when we grant you access, you can take your credentials to the house and be able to log into the platform and do business. So if you are in the comfort of your house and then you are doing your online transactions, it will be difficult for customs to know that this transaction you are doing it for somebody, yes, who is not a licensed agent. It is difficult for customs to know that. But what we can control is access to the platform, to companies and staff of the company. Now, when you give that out to somebody, customs wouldn't know.
Okay.
It's just like you handing over your email to me, and I'm able to go in your password, your address and password, and I go in and do transactions.
Okay.
Or your bank account. It will be difficult for the bank manager to know that I am the one doing it or you are the one.
So what then do you do to a company whose name has been used for fraudulent activities like this?
That is again, the sanctions are provided in the law. If you go to the customs regulations 2016-2248, under regulations 28 will talk about the malpractices that are prohibited. Then the sanctions are there, which has to do with either suspension of your license or revocation of the license. So there are a lot of licenses that we have actually suspended and revoked.
Just that? You just revoke their license? Because they can also go and hide under another company and still continue to do business. You only revoke licenses?
We suspend, we revoke. Where it has to do with, if it is criminal, then it goes for prosecution. Then it becomes the subject of court, right? Mm. Yes, but you're asking, if you come to me that somebody had given documents to you, and then you probably, whatever the case is, we investigate and we realize that no, what is expected of you is in the law. What is not expected of you is also in the law. So long as we go into the law and we realize that these and these are things you are not supposed to do, and you have done, then the provisions that we are supposed to apply, the sanctions, we just apply the sanctions.
Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about, the nature of the sanctions, just revocation of licenses for somebody that you have licensed to do legitimate business, and you realize that they are doing something unscrupulous with your license. When you get them, you only pull out your license and you let them go free?
That's what I'm
telling you. Because then that won't be deterrent enough, will it?
If it requires prosecution, that becomes subject of court.
But don't you prosecute when you find them like this?
It depends on the case, right?
So let's take Insurance case, for instance. What would you do to...
Insurance case was a case, mind you, in the beginning we said that it was a case between insurer and a fraudster.
And apparently the fraudster used a company name, and that company is there.
But that company hasn't done anything when it comes to customs. The person hasn't done anything wrong. What the person has done is to make an application to customs, right? Mm-hmm. And if you go to the records, it bears the name of the importer. It carries virtually every detail. Yeah. The person didn't submit to us any fake document.
Oh, do they have to do that? But if the person, okay, so this is what I want to find out. The person using your license sort of was supposed to provide, using your license, provide a service to someone they had entered into contract with. Yeah. And then he ends up duping the person in the name of your license. And
he didn't dupe.
No, but it is company that's duped. Whether
No.
the individual is supposed to have been working for this company.
The authorized agent submitted application to customs using genuine documents. Got from party A. Party A and another party had a relationship, and between that one is a fraudster.
Sure.
You see, so when you come to customs, at least the custom house agent was able to collect the required information and provided same. So he has not done anything wrong.
Okay.
It's just like you coming to me to assist you in submitting documents. If I have the gateway, I'll be able to do that. I wouldn't say I have done anything wrong. That I have not done. But if I fake the document, then it becomes a malpractice.
When there's a tax
then
evasion,
the provisions for sanctioning will be applied.
Okay. So at this point, your institution don't play any role. You don't go after the company in no way.
It's a criminal case between the individual and then the employer.
That is a relationship between two parties outside of customs.
Okay. I disagree. This one says there's a comment on not you. It's not, even though it starts with disagreement. On WhatsApp, it says, I disagree with the view that agents are bad. Some of us are importers and childhood friends are agents. So the trust is there than their own family members. We can negotiate a lot with them. So this one says, good. Well, we have Ishmael on the line. Hello, Ishmael.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening. Go ahead.
Yes, good. Yes, I have some few comments I would like to make. Yes, it's always true that people refer to agents as thieves. Some of them are fraudsters. Yeah, but agents are not the only stakeholders in this industry. We have customs, we have shippers council, we have other stakeholders involved. Yeah, some agents feel that they are smart and they can beat the system. So they go and they don't even describe the items well. They get to examination, and during the examinations they are caught. Fine. It's also true that some custom officers, while all these things go through, they also talk to importers. Some of them also have importers as friends, and they refer them to agents to work for them. And so in the industry, it's a bit cumbersome when it comes to the issue of agents always being thieves or doing things behind the scenes. We are all involved in this industry. Look, there was a time where even when we want to pay duty, you have to put the claim in a queue. It gets to a place. I was a victim of this. When it got to my turn, I couldn't see my document. That was some time ago. And 3 days later, I wrote a letter to the bank. I was using a draft. So I couldn't find my document. I wrote a letter to the bank to block the draft from somebody clearing it that day I couldn't pay. But after 3 days, then they called me and somebody has cleared this draft using it to pay duty.
I see.
Yeah, so when the person pays the duty, it will come with the declarant code, it will come with the importer's number, and all those things pop out in the system. So they called me to come to the commercial bank at the long run. I went and there was some people around, and then I was told that I made plans. I did with some people, and we used the draft to pay the duty. Fortunately for me, I didn't know these guys, and the guys were arrested. So they took me to the regional police office, and they sent me to the regional crime officer. So during my discussion with him, I narrated how the whole thing happened in the bank, and then he called the guys from the cells, and he came, and they asked them whether they knew me, and the guy said they don't know me. If they had known me before that thing happened, they would have involved me that I was part of the whole deal.
Yeah.
So they took the money, and the cashiers, the bank, the tellers knows that when you do a draft from the bank should come by order of the importer's name. But this draft didn't come with the importer's name. But the bank accepted the draft, and they used this draft to pay the duty. So in this case, how does the agents become the victim of this? Meanwhile, the banks are also helping, controlling, and conniving with the agents to do certain things in the bank. So I think we need to streamline this system so that we know where exactly the problem. Everybody who is a stakeholder in the industry should come together.
Yeah, very
so
important.
that we work hand in hand.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ishmael. I'm going to ask Smile whether you have a portal where people can easily go and assess all the legitimate freight forwarders who can work for them. But that's after I read these messages. So this one says, good evening to you all. I am Godwin from Spinters. Most clearing agents are really honest and doing very good jobs. Last month, I cleared some cars from the port. The clearing agent did all the documentation, sent me the declarations and asked me to go and pay at the bank myself, which I did successfully. I only paid to him his charges. So that's the advice Smile gave earlier. And then this one says, good evening. I suggest the customs house agent should also do some background checks on their members. They stamp for when they are doing their cards for them, since we cannot be part of the customs house agent. Is that possible? Smile, yeah.
They are not supposed to stamp.
They are not supposed to stamp for anybody.
Okay. And this one from one of my bosses, can you ask your two panelists to explain to us how come two registered agents can give two separate duties using the same data? Keodi.
What items was that?
Okay, the items are not specified, but whether how come two registered agents can give two separate duties using the same data? So is that possible, Smile? Which is something you have earlier mentioned. Yeah. This one will come and say, oh, this one they give me 50,000. This one says this one the same item 60,000.
That is not the fault of clearing agents.
How do they get that?
I don't
how do they
duty.
Get the duty?
Let's take, for example,
an
iPhone. Duty. Let's say an iPhone 11 Pro Max, manufactured in China. An iPhone 11 Pro Max, manufactured in US.
Yeah. There will be variations as far as
same product, right? But the
specs are different.
No, different origin.
Same
country of origin.
Different country of origin. It has an effect on the pricing.
Sure.
Because the labor cost in China is not the same as in US. So if you look at the X factory price, there is no way you will say that manufactured in China is the same as that manufactured in US. So if somebody brings the same phone from China and US, and we give this to the US one and that to the Chinese one, does not mean that the system is generating different values.
I see.
But that is actually the case.
The market, the origin of the market is also, or the manufacturer is also.
It is a key determinant.
I see. These are things you need to be explaining to.
But that is true.
These are principles world over.
I see. So do you have something broken down on your site, on a portal, that people can check themselves and say, okay, I brought two iPhones. This one is coming from here, that is coming from there. But on the site, this is what I should pay for that, that is what I should pay for that. When people can see some of these costs, they won't rely on information given to them by third parties and then quickly fall prey. Well, okay, while you think about that, Smile, let me pick Emmanuel. He's calling from TEMA. Hello, Emmanuel. Hello? Yes, Emmanuel, go ahead.
I think I have two issues here. One, I don't know the reason why all the industry players are. Hello, are you hearing me?
We can, please.
Emmanuel,
we can hear you.
Okay, I said I don't know the reason why some of the industry players all fix their eyes on the clearing agents active. This is my problem.
So help with the misconception. That's why we are having this discourse. Then we help the public to clear that image.
Yeah, but it seems some of the importers, some of the customs, some of the GAPOA, some of the other agencies, I mean, they all fix their eyes on the agents that are the active.
I doubt that's the case. KOD is even shaking his head. It means that probably is not the case. But help us and diffuse the public image. So now you have the platform. Let's do that.
Yeah, because agents cannot stand alone to steal or to steal Ghana government. No way.
Okay.
Because the other parts of the industry players, they are part of the same issue they're talking about. But they always turn against agents that they are the only bad people in the industry. Meanwhile, it's not so.
Maybe because you go and stand in with the importer, so definitely you go and face the public.
Yes, all because our leaders are not facing the challenge.
Okay. Ima, for the sake of time, I'm going to move to the next caller, and I see Henry from Takrady said, kindly ask KOD how many, I think, how many of them will really allow importers to make payment themselves? Whatever objective charges are printed out, the agents take more than that. So they would always want you, the importer, to just give them the money for them to get their nokofio. And you shouldn't budge. I mean, if that's what he's asking for, KOD says, and all the people are advising you, Smile is advising you, don't budge. Ensure that you pay the money yourself. Hi, my name is Deborah Arthur. Are you guys aware of the hassle importers and freight forwarders have been facing since Monday? Yes, we just played that not long ago, Deborah. This one says, okay, this is a problem for all of us. USA does not manufacture phones. All the phones come from China. So the response to your, the mobile phones that you have different, all the phones are coming from China. So how come we still have separate prices for them? So good evening, my bosses. My greetings to you all. Please, I disagree with Henry. I was once working with an agent, and that agent never paid duty before. All that he does is send me the declaration number, then I go to any bank close to me and pay my duty. TEMA agents are reliable and very serious. Okay, but
let me just say this. If you go to Section 67 of the Customs Act, Act 891, that is customs valuation, because what we discussing has to do with the value of an item.
Yeah.
So if you can permit me, let me just
Please
quote.
go ahead.
1. For customs purposes, customs value is the transaction value or the price actually paid or payable for goods imported into this country, except in cases where provision is specifically made for another method of determining customs value. Now look at this. The price actually paid or payable is the total payment made or to be made by the seller to the by the buyer to the seller, or the buyer to a third party for the benefit of the seller for the imported goods. I'm reading this because when you come to us, you are supposed to produce one primary document, which is the invoice.
Okay.
The invoice is, as explained here, the price actually paid. That is contained in the invoice, right? If you don't fake that, we are going to maintain that price. That is the transaction value, right?
Yeah.
The value at which you bought the items. So if you're coming from China and you are telling me that you bought this mobile phone for $50, which is contained on your invoice, that is the value we are accepting. Unless the provision again is there, unless that we doubt. When we are in doubt, then the law makes provision again how we are supposed to treat you. So in fact, this particular section is actually an extra from the WTO valuation method, which is an accepted valuation method world over for every country that is under the WTO. You see, that's the World Trade Organization, Article 7 of the General Agreement of Tariff and Trade. So it is not as if that what we do in Ghana is different from what is done in the US or in China. So long as we use that document as a reference document, we are all making the same application, except for the case of used vehicles.
Okay. Okay, I'm sure that you would have some more questions coming for you, but this one says, good evening, Sami. Please find out from your panelists probable duty amount for my 2016 raffle. Okay. Kofi and Kumasi, we will definitely send that to you. It needs to be calculated, but if you've been watching this program during the break, there's a way you can calculate the duty yourself. That probably smile. That's also another thing. We have the duty calculator.
It's taken off. It's taken off now.
It's taken off.
That is
okay,
that
because
is
it
that
was
is
being
that
run
is
by
West Blue. Yeah.
Okay.
That is still fine. Provisions are made in the new system for that to happen. However, again, if you know how much you have bought, because it's contained in the invoice.
Yeah.
If you know that you have bought this phone for $20, you see, I can simply tell you that because of the rate of tax as this and that one, just do a calculation of this on it as a percentage to have a rough idea.
Okay.
It is because you probably don't want to submit that your invoice, which is the $50. So you are asking me to tell you how much you'll be paying.
I get it.
That is on the invoice. You see, the value is on the invoice. If you get that one, you know the cost of freight. And insurance, if you have not got insurance, then you can apply a percentage by adding the FOB and then the freight, multiplying by 0.875%. Then you get the insurance. Because the basis for ad valorem tax calculation in Ghana is CIF. That's the cost plus insurance plus freight.
Okay.
And you are okay.
Let me pick Henry Forson. Somebody says they don't agree with the, and that's Kofi Japan from TEMA. He says he doesn't agree with your analogy on the iPhone, and I will read to you why. Henry Forson, hello.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Henry.
Yes, I am a client agent myself in TEMA.
Good.
But all the time, what I advise my client, and I think if the general public will also accept, you see, when we ask you, go and do your job, go to the bank and pay. And then bring the receipt to us. And all our clients, we work for a lot of clients, but that's what we do to them. We don't make it a point that nobody should bring money to the office, with the exception of our charges.
Can it be
and
made?
it is helping us. Nobody has ever come that, oh, you have overcharged me, you have done this. And some of the importers, they want to leave everything to the agents. And the agents take advantage because, money has a different dynamic when it comes to the hands of somebody.
Yeah.
Whether the person being honest or faithful, or whenever money comes to you and you are not careful, something will happen.
You consume.
So all my clients, I tell them, the moment emails and WhatsApp messages, you just send it to the person and pay.
Thank you, Henry.
So
can that be made a convention that we let all importers just go to the bank? Don't give no money.
It depends.
Or the agent shouldn't be paying.
No, it depends on the location of the importer.
Importer,
if the importer happens to be in a location where there's no commercial
but
bank.
these days, online banking everywhere. You can pay everywhere.
But up to now, we still have only 2 banks, collecting government revenue. That is Commercial Bank and Ecobank.
So you think that should be expanded?
We add, other banks. Then it doesn't matter where you find yourself.
Then you
can just
still
walk
pay.
in there. Even my senior manager said, you pay the bank, pay the duty and bring the receipt. Even now, you don't even need the receipt again because with the kind of platform we are using now, just pay the duty. It triggers everywhere. Everybody sees that you have even paid it. You have paid the duty.
Yeah.
So you don't even need the receipt. You understand what I'm saying?
So
it depends on trust. And then, like the man interpreted a question that he said, you see, every clearing agent is accountable to his client or her client. Yeah. After clearing, let the importer know how much he paid as duty, how much he paid as shipping line charges, how much he paid as handling charges, and then all other charges. Just put it on an invoice and send it to him. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So if your clearing agent gives you a bulky amount that brings 20,000, ask him to give you a breakdown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Finish. As simple as that.
Let me smile. So the analogy from Kofi Japan, I think I have to read it to you.
You see, Samuel, if you want us to go into valuation, we will not be living here in your studio.
No, we are not going to go into valuation. Okay, let me just read this one. I'll get that one quickly. Good evening, I on port. Hello to Mr. Smile and KOD. I'm happy about the outcome of Inshira Borehole case. One, I agree with KOD. Some importers just are not realistic. They walk to you and tell you how much it should cost them. That is 40-footer container of a tie. They will never present an invoice when you request. When they do that, they only put themselves in a situation to be defrauded. The person will only take the money and won't be able to deliver. Importers should desist from such acts since they will suffer at the long run.
That's the point. Exactly what I'm saying.
Kofi is standing by in Takrade, but this one says, please, kindly, hello, please, is it possible to clear your goods without the use of agents? Kwajuk from Kumasi, I'll let you tackle that, because we all know that apart from self-declarance, it's virtually, so they will tackle that quickly, and as well as Smile. Do I have to necessarily use agents or freight forwarders to clear my goods? Please, kindly link me up to some of the clearing agents. Thank you. This one says, please kindly ask the customs officer for me the issue with the new introduced system. What are they doing about it from Monday, 1st June? Yes, we just play that, but it's quite extensive. So we're going to have a studio discussion on this. Customs has released, has come out with a press release. Imani has also come out with a press release, quite extensive, and we should be having extensive discussion after we observe the following week. Kofi is in Takrady and on the line. Hello, Kofi.
Yeah, good evening. Extending regards to KOD. In respect of charlatans parading the industry as straightforwarded, I think in every industry we have the bad nuts. But that doesn't mean that every freight forwarder is doing the same thing. I will urge people to tone down and always look out for people who actually are professionals, because even if they have their motto as professionalism being the key. Freight forwarders render an essential service in the country. You understand? So even the drugs get to the pharmacy, the hospital. Even this corona, when the issue came, you understand?
Yeah.
The sanitizers, apart from what companies were doing, the ones that were shipped in the country, I mean, we've committed our quota to the nation.
Yeah.
I think people should tone down. And listening to the discussion, I thought you were going to talk about Unipack, because there's been a lot of challenges in the industry.
Okay. I think we just explained that when somebody sent a question. So good evening, Sam. The analogy of iPhone or Smile is not accurate. I have 2 containers of same products. I am paying for 25,591 Ghana cedis for one. Other container, I pay 35,750 for the other. Same importer. This is from Kofiye, Japan, in TEMA. And this one, good evening, now import. Interesting discussion. There is quite a bit customs and CHAS can do. I'm sure custom house agents can do to remediate the challenges they are encountering using some little technology and enhanced processes. These include 1, restrict custom house agents to sending from a dedicated server whose address can be determined by customs. And Smile, you may be taking notice on this because I will ask you. Customs can then issue secure tokens to the custom house agents to help them validate their transactions. And custom house agents must be given some access to review and authorize the items presented by their data entry clerks before they are finalized. Can these help?
Of course.
They can.
They said you should be given the chance from the data entry clerk to the supervisor to do a vetting before it's submitted to customs. I think that was what you said earlier.
Yeah, that can be done. That's what I'm saying. That is done. In fact, when under normal circumstances, when your data entry clerk finish typing a declaration, that's why we have a supervisory role. It must be put there for the supervisor to vet and make sure everything is correct before it is finally submitted to customs for processing.
Okay.
And then the guy who asked whether anybody at all can clear his cargo.
Yes, that's key.
The Section 43 of Custom Act 891, mandates customs to give us an operational license. Don't forget, clearing and forwarding agent is a profession, and freight forwarding is a profession, and then we are licensed by customs to perform, such duties. Apart from that, we also have self-declarants, and there are requirements that one has to meet to be able to get that, facility, and then we also have AUs, which is authorized economic operators, and these are categories of people. So if you are importing 111 car, I don't think you can meet, the requirements that custom can give you. But apart from that, anybody who imports must pass through a licensed customs house agent, because we are mandated by customs. Section 43 of Act 891 recognizes our profession.
There's something Inshira did that you mentioned, and I would want, as we are ending, want you to pick on that, both of you, and share your thoughts on that. He did not let it be, as some have done. Some get duped, they let it be. He chose to go to court, he pushed, he came to us, he came to you, and then he pushed to the court till he got his money back. What do we learn from this? Meanwhile, there are others whose case the same guy has duped, and they are still there.
And I'm saying we have to praise the judge who gave this verdict. You know, he didn't allow this case to travel far. That's how come Inshira, you know, managed to, you know, be compensated. If the judge had played with time, you know, had made dilly-dally over time, maybe Inshira himself would have been given up. But because the judge was very, very serious, he sat on the case and gave a verdict. And then what also complemented his decision was the fact that the guy had so many cases. It means that he is a habitual fraudster. And then the judge didn't want that, you know, thing to continue. It must end, you know, at a point. What I would say is that importers should be wary of these people who are always there to give them low, you know, let's say, figures. Somebody comes to you, you know, the importer who shops for clearing agent. He goes here, and then he tells you, I have a 20-footer container containing this. How much will you take? While he's talking to you, he has also, you know, talked to somebody already. So you have one person hopping from office to office. If you don't take time, you will end up, you know, in the belly of some of these fraudsters. And then what happens? You are duped.
Yeah. And yes. Smile, the fact that he also got this remedy from the courts also tells all of us that there are judicial remedies to some of these things. So if you're an importer and you unfortunately find yourself in this situation, you should press on, go to the court, and you may get judicial remedy from this.
Yes, that we agree. Let me just say quickly, again, I know we are not discussing the new system, right?
No.
Yes, of course. But I just want to tell you one beauty of it. Whenever you make a transaction.
If you bring it up,
I'm not bringing it. Whenever you make a transaction,
get into,
when you are an importer and then you give your documents to an agent and makes a processing of the documents on your behalf, the moment it is submitted to customs, a message, an SMS is sent to you.
Okay, so because this is new, and I have already mentioned that we will delve into the system itself.
What did just say used to be there? Even in the PR, there were times we were receiving.
It used to be there.
They used to get alert. So
what I'm just mentioning is that the moment this is sent to you, you see that when they said this, your tin had been used for this, and in fact, that particular one gives you the customs declaration. You see, number. And that is the number you need. The moment you have that number, please, you have control over your agent. Okay. Whenever the agent says, pay this amount, with that number, you can verify how much you're actually paying.
Okay.
So you take control over your own business process.
Okay, let me read the last messages and we'll wrapping up. Some vehicles originating from Europe is a major issue in value variations. This is because HDV, that's home delivery value, for vehicles imported from Europe is not online or accessible to the public. Hence, customs sometimes use their discretion to value such vehicles. For example, a 2010 BMW with same specs from same country in Europe always has different value from customs. Customs should be transparent as stipulated in the Kyoto Convention principle, so that every importer will know exact value per commodity or vehicle to avoid fraud and uncertainties or poet. From Pong, Romeo sent that one. So good evening. Any update on the Unipass issue we just talked about? That this one says, my name is Frank. The organization has, do I have it right? Yeah. My name is Frank, writing from Nungwa, Ajiman. Majority of the individual importers also do not tell their agents the truth. Some don't report actual figures and actual quantities to their agents. I encourage importers to always verify the background of agents before they transact business. Importers must understand that the moment you tell your agent to get you a lesser duty, you give room for these fraudsters to operate. CEOs of agencies should desist from stamping for the Guru agents. That's his advice. We'll pick international news. I'll be right back. Czech has completed an expansion project at Abidjan Port. The $933.4 million Abidjan Port Expansion Project is a government framework project with the largest single amount provided by Chinese government for Côte d'Ivoire, and is also the largest engineer, procure and construct project that Czech has constructed in West Africa. The project started construction in November 2015 and includes 3 new container berths, a ro-ro berth, general cargo berth and shipping channels to improve the cargo handling volume of Abidjan Port. The completion of the project will strengthen the company's position in the region and the market, said Czech. During the last 10 days period of May, the cargo throughput of major Chinese ports kept increasing and posted an increase of 0.9% year-on-year. The overall container throughput and international container cargo volume of 8 major Chinese ports increased 20% and 18% respectively, comparing to middle May, resuming to around 98% and 96% of the volume in the same period of last year. The crude oil shipments at major coastal ports increased 15.43% year-on-year. The iron ore shipments at major ports increased 6% compared year-on-year, among which the growth rate of Ningbo, Zhoushan Port and Qingdao Port exceeded 10%. The Mission to Seafarers has launched a new flagship campaign to address the severe welfare issues facing seafarers worldwide in the wake of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. As explained, the Flying Angel campaign is a top priority for the organization as crews remain trapped on vessels owing to travel restrictions, subject to quarantine upon returning home, and unable to contact loved ones. The mission has targeted a funding total of 600 million euros, an equivalent of $752,000 to deliver this program, which is expected to have significant benefits to the entire industry. New Zealand state-owned enterprise Kiwi Rail has issued a request for proposals to find a preferred shipyard to build the 2 new rail-enabled roll-on roll-off passenger ferries for the operator Inter-Island. As explained, this is the next step in the procurement process and a central move towards realizing the 2 new buildings. When entering into service in 2024 and 2025, the new ferries will replace the existing fleet of 3 ships, and at that time, it will be more than 25 years since New Zealand last introduced purpose-built ferries completely tailored to future operations and local circumstances. Okay, so as we're ending, Smile, I just got a message that, you know, the lawyers who are also following says that if Customs has interest in protecting the name of your organization because you don't want to give a license and somebody will use it wrongly, as well as freight forwarders, then you can, in sometimes, join the complainant in the case and then file, so that you can also push for the punishment of such individuals, you know, the defendants. You may look into it in detail as far as law is concerned. And then also there is one that says that, you know, trying to clear your own goods out of the port, it's not a small matter. And I'm sure you will be able to tell. It's not cheap.
Sometimes people
it's virtually impossible for an individual to do
the work that we freight forwarders do.
Virtually impossible.
Yes, it is not possible for you. Can't even do the rounds. I remember.
And even the understanding, the jargons, the documents that you go through.
I met one retired customs officer who, you know, after retirement came into the freight forwarding. He was going to do a shipping line release at MSC. And I saw him working with my clay bag. And I greeted him, say, good afternoon. He said, good afternoon. He said, hey, my son. I said, boss. I said, why are you going? I'm going to release. Charlie, you people are suffering. And I said, okay. You see?
That is why you need somebody. It's like
it is not easy. People think our job is that easy.
Go to the court for you.
It's a very troublesome job that we have.
You can walk into the court, but it may be impossible for you to survive.
It's not that easy.
Okay, so thank you very much. Smile Agbemenu, Supervisor, Customs Policy and Programs Department. Also Kweku Ochedako, Executive Member, Committee of Freight Forwarder Associations. And we couldn't have Filippo in the studio because he had emergency. He had to go somewhere. Filippo, I know that you enjoy the program from wherever you are. That's somewhere around Odam. We have seen your messages. Thanks. Thanks, folks. See you same time next week.